Good morning, everybody. Shefa Baruch v'Atzluche. We have two parashiot, Vayakel Pikuday, that are ending the book of Shmot, Sefer HaGeula. And one of the interesting points is that we again saying again and again the same things that we said for last week, for example with Betzalel ben Oliav and Achisamach Lemate Dan. Also a very interesting episode when we look at the parasha. 1 minute, let's see it. Let's look at it. Okay, Vayakel. Okay. ויאמר משה בני ישראל, ראו קרא השם בשם בצלאל בן אורי בן חור למטה יהודה. Betzalel ben Uri. When we ask somebody who built the Mishkan, everybody, Betzalel, and we forget that there was somebody with him together. And listen to it. וימלא אותו רוח אלוקים, and he filled him with the Spirit of God, with wisdom and knowledge, and all the work that he needs to do, to think thoughts, and to do, לאחר שמשה בזהב ובכסף, בנחושת, בחרושת אבן, למלות חושן, etc. ולאורות נתן בליבו, he ve'olihav ben Achisamach lemate Dan. And is written and ve. And Or Chaim Gadol said, always when there is a vav that connects the things together, it's the same level. In other words, the Torah is telling us that Betzalel, which we all know build the Mishkan, is in the same level as Oholihav, which is very important to understand. Because Betzalel is from Shevet Yehuda. That's the highest tribe, the tribe of the kings, Shevet Yehuda. And Oliab ben Achisamach is from Shevet Dan. That is like the lowest level of the tribe in Am Yisrael. So the Torah is showing us, it doesn't matter where you are, what you are, on what level you are, what family you come from, you are all equal. You all can do the job. And especially says the Torah, that with Betzalel, the top guy, was another top guy, and he is from the lowest tribe. Yes, they were the same level in the eyes of God, and we should look at it the same. And that's one of the most important things that we have to understand. Each one of us got a job. Each one of us sometimes thinks about the job of the other. I want to be like this. I want to be rich. I want to be a rabbi. I want to be a professor. I want to be this. I want to be that. And we have to put it in our mind that we got a job from the Kodesh Baruch Hu. It's like always I tell the story with Shmelke. With Shmelke Vanipoli, it's the brother of the Noam Elimelech. I think it's yours that was this week. One day they found him crying. Says, why are you crying? Says, I'm crying that when I go to heaven, they won't ask me, why haven't I been like Moshe Rabbeinu? Everybody said, no, Shmelke, you are a great guy, but Moshe Rabbeinu, you're not. He says, that's exactly the problem. They're not going to ask me. If they're going to ask me, I've got an answer. I'm not Moshe Rabbeinu. But they're going to ask me, why haven't you been Reb Shmelke? Why haven't you done your job? That's what I'm afraid of. Each one of us got a job. It's your job, your personal job. And you have to understand, it doesn't matter what your job is. When you do the job and you do it for the Klal, for Klal Am Yisrael, together we build this beautiful thing that is called Am Yisrael. And that's the whole idea behind the Mishkan. The whole idea behind the Mishkan is to build together. Everybody's got to share in the Mishkan. And the Mishkan is really inside us, when everybody from us is doing his own job. And that's what the Torah is telling us. It doesn't matter from what family you come, from what tribe you come. You are equal with the meaning of the quality of the way God looks at you. And it doesn't matter. It's like, for example, society is built from a lot of professions. Sometimes it goes in a wrong way. For example, a brain surgeon, and put on the other side a football player. You know how much a good football player earns a year? Those are, you cannot even imagine the numbers. And this brain surgeon doesn't even come near to him. Is this logical? There's a machine in the world, yes. But in our tradition, that's not going to happen, because we are looking at things from the point of view of building a society that is going to lead us to build a Mishkan, to build a shrine, to build a temple for God. And in this temple, yes, everybody's got a job. So we talked about a brain surgeon. We have also a carpenter, or a tailor, or even the street cleaner. We need them all. We need the workers, we need the philosophers, we need the professors, and we need the sages. We need everybody. Because together we build this beautiful society, Am Israel. When you have a court case, are you going to go to a doctor? It's also a high-level profession. No, because you cannot stand in front of court. You're going to lose the court. And if I have chas v'shalom, I need an operation, I'm not going to go to the lawyer. And when I need a suit, I'm not going to go to the carpenter, and I'm also not going to go to the doctor, because he cannot make me a suit. And we need a tailor and we need a carpenter. By the way, sometimes they have even similar tools, like the brain surgeon or the surgeon has got similar tools to a carpenter, or even but it's a different matter. The beauty is that each one of us has to understand, and this is why also here ועשה בצלאל ואוליאב, and בצלאל ואוליאב, and now, וכל איש חכם לב, and all those people that are, this is also a very interesting thing, חכם לב. What is חכם לב? Where is the wisdom? The wisdom is in the heart or in the brain? What does it mean? And it goes again and again and again, חכם לב, חכמת לב, חכמות לב. What is this? And here we have to understand another interesting point about wisdom. But before we go to wisdom, I don't know if we talked about it. It's written in לחשוב מחשבות לעשות, to think thoughts, to do, to make. In other words, there are people, they have a lot of beautiful thoughts, but they don't practice, they don't do it. So it means nothing. You can think from morning to night, also in business, in everything, all the fields. You can think, if you don't make it, if you don't do it really, so what does it help? From the other side, there are those who do things without thinking, which is also wrong. You know, I had this worker in the warehouse, and suddenly I had a lot of complaints from customers that they're getting torn upholstery in the chairs. I couldn't understand why. They were all packed beautifully. So I go to the warehouse and I see this worker I've got. He doesn't understand the label, what is on the carton, what color is the upholstery inside of the chair, inside the box. So he takes a knife and cuts through the box. And I said, are you crazy or something? This is doing things without thinking. He cut in, and he tore the cushion of the chair, the upholstery, and people got it torn. You can, if you have you open it with wisdom. לחשוב מחשבות, סוף מעשה למחשבה תחילה. You have to think before you do. Because if you do things without thinking, this is what can happen. It's the same way. I had to assemble an hammock a few years ago, assemble something, and I know what to do, but I've got no problem. So I'm doing everything, and at the end I'm left with a screw, a small screw that cannot go in the place where I need to put it. Why? Because the long screw I used before. Because no problem for the long screw to go in a place where you can put a short screw. But I had to put a short screw there, and the long screw, now I didn't have it in my hand, so I had to redo the whole thing from the beginning. And not always you can do this. In other words, think and do. Act. But don't act without thinking. It's לחשוב מחשבות, to think thoughts, לעשות, to do. It's a beautiful thing. So, for us, for everybody of us, have a lot of good thoughts, but practice, do it, and don't do anything without thinking. There is a lot to talk about it, but we want to touch another point, which is called chokhmat lev, the wisdom of the heart. What does it mean? So, what does it mean? I'll tell you what does it mean. Years ago, when I went the first time to Guangzhou in China, and it was Friday, so Friday noon, I was going out to look where is Bet Chabad, where there we daven and we eat. I wanted to know it before Shabbos, so I want to find my way then in Shabbos. So I'm putting the address and thing. I couldn't find it. The map didn't help me. So I see this girl in the bus station, and I'm asking her in English, but she doesn't understand a word in English. But I show her the map where I need to go. So she starts walking with me, going here and asking people. And 20 minutes I'm walking with this girl, and I see that I'm getting nowhere. And she really wants to help, but I had to get rid of her. It took me a lot of persuasion to convince her it's okay, I'll do it. She really wanted to help. Okay, what do I do? I'm walking and looking and walking, and then I see this girl coming out of her car, asking her, can you please help me? And she's answering in English. I explain in English, I understand that. She looks and she asks, and looks on the computer, on the phone, or whatever it is. And she's like, okay, I tell you, I know where it is. Hey, come with me. And we're coming near, it says in the end of this street, right, that's where Bet Chabad is. And she says, you see, I live here. She's showing me a building. And she's going on with it. I says, no, you don't need. You have to kick and move. No. I started something, I'm going it. And then I learned a big lesson. Those two girls, they both had the heart. They wanted to help. But the first one didn't have the knowledge. So without the knowledge, without the wisdom, the heart doesn't help. From the other side, this girl who had the wisdom and the heart, she helped me. So we need both. And to understand that the wisdom has to come from the heart. The heart has to be connected to the wisdom. When the heart is connected to wisdom, then you do the good in the eyes of God. But then the wisdom is not connected, you can do the worst things in the world. Because you use the wisdom without a heart, you use it for the worst. But when you use it with a heart, with love, this is beautiful. But again, you have to know. So this is Chacham Lev. That somebody's got his wisdom coming with the heart together. That's what God wants. This is the way to build a Mishkan. When the wisdom comes together with. Now we've got left with another problem, which we see in the Pikuday. Pikuday, I think 18 times, it's written, Ka'asher tziva Hashem Moshe. Like God ordered Moshe Rabbeinu, that's the way they do. Kachasu. Why? We understand that they do what Moshe Rabbeinu is telling them. God is telling Moshe Rabbeinu, they is telling them. Why is the Torah saying it again and again? Because they had a problem. They thought, as we said, they thought and did, but they didn't think to the end. And here was the problem. What does it mean? The golden calf. The golden calf, one of the questions is, why did they approach Aaron HaKohen and not those two wizards from Egypt? Did they really wanted to worship idols? Or maybe there was something else. They were called Dor De'ah. Dor De'ah is they were connected to God. De'ah says this is a special wisdom that's connected to God. They saw things that we don't even understand. So they saw in this holy carriage up there in heaven, which is something from the Kabbalah, there is a figure of an ox. So I said, we'll do a calf, a golden calf, and through it we'll worship God. Because Moshe Rabbeinu is not coming back. Dor De'ah. But that's exactly the point. A lot of times in life we think we know all, and we can do what we know. But this is why we have the rabbi. This is why we have our sages. This is why we have the Shulchan Aruch. This is why we have to listen to them. Because they see what we don't see. They know how to do it in the right way. And we don't decide by ourselves, even if we're very clever. And this is what the Torah is telling us here. They didn't do what they want. Even though they thought, like I thought I can assemble this hammock, and I couldn't do it because I did a mistake. And I did it hundreds of times. But this I did a mistake because I didn't look at the plan. So we have to understand that when we do things, we have to listen to somebody who's going to tell us how to do it. And in this case, is to listen to Gdolei Hador, to the great rabbis that we have in our generation, the leaders, the spiritual leaders. They tell us what to do, and we have to listen to them. Moshe Rabbeinu, Shmuel Bedoro, Moshe Bedoro. Shmuel was like Moshe, and even Yiftach was like Shmuel. In other words, every generation's got his people, this spiritual leader that he has to listen to them. Don't listen to yourself. And this is why the Torah is saying again and again, Kasher tziva Hashem et Moshe. This was fixing the sin of the golden calf, where they thought that they know, and they did this thing that led to idol worshipping. Chas v'shalom. So this is the lesson for us, is to think, use your mind in the wise way, connect it to the heart, and listen to the sages that tell us what to do. And I want to end with another example. A few years ago, my wife was still working in a school in the other side of Ra'anana, and I used to take her in the morning to the school, and it took like sometimes 20 minutes, even more, to go through the whole traffic through town. And one day, I'm taking in the Waze, the GPS is showing me, instead of going right, going left, like going out of Ra'anana. Says, yeah, what's going on here? I try again, and again he's showing me. Says, okay, I'll try it. What can I do? And I tried, and I found out to open this new road, 531, I think, or 431, I don't remember. And this road took me through all Ra'anana from the outside, and I got to the school in 5 minutes. So again, the same thing. You think you know, but the Waze knew that there is a new road opened. So he led me from this way. That's why you use the Waze. What is the Waze for our ways? Our sages, our spiritual leaders. So let us all take our thoughts and good thoughts, connect it to deeds, to do, not only to think, and not doing anything without thinking, and also consulting our sages if we're doing the right thing or the wrong thing. And if we go this way, then we can build this Mishkan, this beautiful Mishkan. And it doesn't matter who we are. As we said, everybody's got his job. We need the carpenter, we need the lawyer, we need the doctor, we need the rabbis, we need everybody with his job. And the thing is to connect everything together to one, to build this beautiful Mishkan, this beautiful temple, and then Bezrat Hashem will have the Geulah Shlema B'mehera B'yameinu Amen. All the best.